And I do believe that we have rotten politics, and I'm not using that as an exaggeration.
Hey everyone and welcome. Now, as you're probably aware, Sweden and Finland are looking to join NATO. And the reason for this is being claimed as it being for defensive purposes only. This is including after Russia saying that it would be a very bad idea for Finland specifically, but Sweden as well. We've also seen that there is pushback in regards to NATO allowing Finland or Sweden into the ranks. Well, it seems that Putin has relaxed some of his argument and has now come out with some statements that may appease Sweden and Finland, but I highly doubt it. It seems to be that the leaders of Sweden and Finland are running to exactly the same playbook as everybody else's leaders, and that's completely against what the people want, or wish, or have even been asked about. But anyway, I digress. Let's have a listen. Putin outlines position on looming NATO enlargement. Russia has no problem with Sweden or Finland, but considers deployment of the bloc's military infrastructure a threat. So as you can see, as far as Russia's concerned, it's not the fact that Finland and Sweden are making a decision, it's the fact that NATO will use that decision for military infrastructure and will be a direct threat, especially with Finland, that's landlocked with Russia, to Russia themselves. He does say more. He actually said on Sunday that the two Nordic countries officially announced their NATO membership bids despite multiple warnings from Moscow. Speaking of the Collective Security Threat Treaty Organization summit in the Kremlin, Putin said that further NATO enlargement is a problem that has been created completely artificially. Hard to disagree with that, isn't it? Since it's being done in the foreign policy interests of the United States. And it does seem that that is 100% on the money, because America are dictating the interests of numerous nations around the world, specifically in Europe. He added that the military bloc has been routinely used as a foreign policy instrument of one country, the US, which is true, but quite persistently, skillfully and very aggressively. Russia has no problems with these states, and in this sense, the NATO expansion through the accession of the countries does not create an immediate threat for Russia. But the expansion of military infrastructure into this territory will certainly provoke our response. He also said the nature of Moscow's response would depend on the particular threat being posed by NATO. We will respond accordingly, the Russian president stated. Now, there is pushback, like I say, specifically from Erdogan in Turkey, who's got legitimate reasons for not wanting Sweden or Finland to join NATO. We'll run through that very quickly shortly. But there's also pushback from inside Sweden's political sphere, as Sweden's ruling Social Democrat Party has announced that if the country joins NATO, it would stand against the deployment of nuclear weapons and permanent bases on Swedish territory. Doesn't matter whether you stand against it or not, it'll happen anyway, whether you like it or not. They'll just wait for someone that isn't you to get into power and then get it that way. Am I wrong? If you think I'm wrong, let me know. So there is pushback from inside the nation. There's also pushback from other places. Now, obviously, the powers that be, the main instigators in NATO are desperate to get more and more of the Eastern Bloc, i.e. they want Sweden and Finland to be allowed in. But NATO requires a majority vote from the nations that are already in it. And with Turkey saying not a chance, the possibilities of it being done legitimately are pretty small. Now, obviously, Turkey more than likely will be after getting concessions of some sort or getting something to their benefit. And let's be honest, they've got the NATO over a barrel at this point. If they really do want to save face and get Sweden and Finland in, which is what that would be, they will have to negotiate and give Erdogan pretty much anything he wants. Anything. Which isn't going to go well, is it? Now, I actually think they're going to try and force this in my honest opinion. Canada are already coming out and saying that they support a quick NATO accession, which effectively is a nice way of saying without bothering to vote. Effectively nullifying Erdogan's veto, which would prove that NATO is not run democratically at all, and is just another power structure to enable a new world government, a one world government, however you want to call it, the Great Reset. Plenty of proof out there for this sort of thing, isn't there, everyone? Now, hopefully, Erdogan, in his refusal to let these two countries in, is going to stand firm. And the reason he's doing it is because Finland and Sweden have refused to extradite terrorists that are wanted by Turkey, specifically Kurdish military groups, and banned Kurdistan Workers' Party, PKK in other words. And they've refused to send them back. Now, they've actually come out and effectively said that they're taken aback. In Washington, Sweden, the ambassador was among those who said they were taken aback by Mr. Erdogan's objections. We have a very strong anti-terrorist agenda. Didn't look like that when someone said that they were going to burn a book. They burnt your country. And a lot of almost accusations that are coming out are simply not true. We've seen the footage, my dear. We've seen the footage, haven't we, everyone? So it's looking like a geopolitical minefield, this, everyone. It's going to be interesting to see how this one goes. If Erdogan wants to get what he wants, it will rely on him being able to veto. So if they manage to get it around where they don't actually vote, what's the point in NATO? It's not a democratic organisation if they can overrule vetoes. The idea was it was a defence pact, was it not? Seems to be a empire pact. And it's only for one country that's benefiting from all of this turmoil. And it's the one on the other side of the Atlantic. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. Stay sane. See you on the next one.